clicking the Connexus icon at DeWittDailyNews.com. Fiber Internet is coming to Clinton. Get on the install list now.
Your friend in Central Illinois. WHOW.
Top of the morning. Thanks for being with us. I'm your host today, Seth Lawrence. The WHOW Morning Show streams to Facebook and YouTube. Brought to you by Peterson Insurance, your Pekin Insurance agent in Clinton. My guest on this segment of the morning show is State Senator Sally Turner. Good morning, Sally. How are you today?
Good morning, Seth. Good. It's a rainy day. I'm sure our farmers are happy to just have a little break for a little bit, those that are in the field.
I tell you what, man, for this point in September, Sally, there are a lot of farmers out right now. Like, I can't remember this many farmers I've seen. Like, I had to drive over to my parents' house in Lincoln yesterday and saw several farms off of 10 there. Usually it's early October before I see some of those fields coming up. So a lot of farmers out early this year.
There's a lot out. Yeah, some are opening their fields up. I rode with my son yesterday over in near Elkhart out the country, and nice yields so far, it looks like, over in that area.
I just love the harvest. I like this morning, I've probably sneezed at least a dozen times, but I just love the harvest. It's the best. So I'll battle through the allergies. Yep, for sure. Well, Sally, we got to get to state of Illinois business. We can't just talk about the harvest in Lincoln and all those good things. We got to talk about state of Illinois stuff. And let's dive into, obviously, this week, Sally, we saw the official implementation of the no cash bail. It went into full effect on Monday. So just kind of, Sally, your thoughts. I know we've talked about this in the past, but your general thoughts on this legislation and what it means for your communities in your district.
Sure. Well, I have a lot of thoughts, but a few of them, how it's going to affect our communities is I was talking with a circuit clerk last week, and he indicated that it's probably going to be an 11% decrease of the money coming into our counties. So that's a huge hit for counties. Now, county boards are going to have to be thinking of, ways to cut back and how to provide the services that they presently have. So that's something that's going to affect them greatly, I believe. So that was one of the big things. The other portions of it that I think that are extremely important and that we're going to see big changes are the court system is going to be overwhelmed. Our judges, our public defenders, our state's attorneys are going to be working at a crazy pace, trying to address a lot of these individual issues, especially on our appellate court, too, is going to be seeing some appeals, many more than what they have. So there's a lot that's going to happen, and if there's any indication of how it has gone for areas, we could take a good look at Cook County and see how that's been going for them for the last 2 years.
Well, and what I hear a lot of, Sally, and talking with law enforcement and other folks, kind of in that realm that will have to deal with this, is how it's so open for interpretation. And so, you may see similar charges or similar crimes. Let's say, Logan County, you get an individual that has committed a crime, and maybe an individual in Piatt County that has committed a similar crime. And their cases are handled completely differently in terms of charges, how their bond is posted, those sorts of things. Like it's going to be so different, county to county. I venture a guess that is going to eventually be problematic, where someone says, well, in this county, they did this for that, a similar crime. Why won't you do that for me type of stuff? You know what I mean?
Yep, totally agree. I was at a Sheriff's Association conference last week, and I guess it was earlier this week, and that was one of the things they brought up as well. Is from their knowledge base, it's going to be treated differently throughout Illinois. Different circuits. Circus. That's kind of a pun, isn't it? Yeah, different circuits are going to be treating it in different ways. So I'm assuming that we'll probably see some type of appeal, and then we'll probably have to go to the Supreme Court again to get that decision made.
Sure. Sally, as it relates to this legislation, a lot of people wonder, because of so many inconsistencies and, just the ways that it's open for interpretation from one circuit to the next, will lawmakers get back together in Springfield and try to streamline some of these things and make them better understood so there's less, kind of gray area, I guess?
Sure. Well, my understanding is now the party that I'm in, which has the super minority, um, they don't have that ability to go in and make any changes. So the party that does have the power right now uh, doesn't seem like there's any action whatsoever to make any changes. And it's our understanding that they're probably just going to wait and see how this all um, uh, comes out. And if they see that there's changes that need to be made later on down the line, but I'm assuming they're just going to let it go for a year and see where we are when we come back in January.
Hmm. You talked about the Cook County aspect of this. Obviously, they've had this in place for a couple of years now, and I know there's a few media outlets that are kind of following when an individual is prosecuted, or I shouldn't say prosecuted, but they're arrested and then released. How many times do they, or what is the how many instances of an individual in that scenario where they are committing a crime and basically multiplying their victims. And I mean, obviously double digits. I think last year it was probably triple digits, if I'm not mistaken. That's one thing I feel like we failed to think about with this legislation is you're going to have people that are going to continue to victimize innocent citizens in our state.
No, I completely agree. And I think they have seen that over and over in Cook County, and we're probably going to see that down here as well. And I don't want to see people turn in vigilant and and try and take matters in their own hands. And I'm afraid something like that's going to happen as well.
Yeah. I mean, and you're starting to see it in bigger cities, where people, they're not feeling like the system, I guess, is in their corner in terms of keeping them safe, and so they take it upon themselves, which is, I think, perfectly natural. They take it upon themselves to keep themselves safe, if that makes any sense.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely it does.
Sally, anything else on this before we move along here? I know you mentioned. I know you mentioned a few folks you're talking to are concerned about budgets because this change has a great deal of impact on not only revenue, but obviously there's going to be weekend court. There's going to be kind of emergency sessions, if you will, those sorts of things. How about just what you're hearing as it relates to the budgets of your folks?
Yeah, so right now it sounds like there might be, like I said earlier, 11% decrease, but I would venture to guess it's going to be a lot more than that. The uh, the entire county shares the money that comes in, so it's distributed in different ways. So if money that would come in isn't just spent for jails or sheriffs or circuit clerks, it might be also shared with the county clerks, the treasurers, the assessors, different aspects of the county that help them do the job that they need to do for their constituents.
Mm-hmm.
So the state really needed to think about that. If they were going to do this action, they needed to provide for the counties in some fashion. I mean, it was something they really needed to think through instead of just being first in line.
Mm-hmm. Sorry, Sally, I didn't mean to interrupt you there. I've heard this.
No.
I've heard this a couple of times. Well, we don't. Prosecutors and the lawyers in the system, they don't get into it to prosecute for revenue for the counties. That's not their role. They're not there to make money for the counties with these cases and criminals and such.
Oh, sure, and that's true, and we don't want them to be. But if they were going to make a change, they really need to think about then how is it they were going to supplement those counties in their loss? Because I don't know, can we have a county clerk that runs a county and elections with the integrity that need to be run with one person? No, we can't. So how do you do all those things with less money? And that's something that they really needed to investigate before they passed all this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you're going to have to pay, you're going to have to pay those security people to be at the various courthouses for those, weekend hearings and that sort of thing. That's going to be overtime for those individuals. So there's a lot of costs that I think there's a lot of additional costs, not just the loss of revenue, but there's going to be additional costs to counties with this.
Yeah, the state already created a new department just for bond hearings. So instead of just allowing the probation offices to do it and maybe give them some extra money and extra people, the state created a whole new division for bond hearings. So they're paying those people even more than they pay our probation officers that have been serving for a long time.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Sally, anything else on this before we move along this morning?
I think we could go on and on.
Yeah,
but everyone will get bored of that.
no question. Sally Turner, state senator, our guest on the phone this morning. Sally, talk to me a little bit. I know estate taxes have been, something on your radar of late. What's going on here? What can you tell us?
Yeah, actually, I'm delighted that Senator Kaler from Peoria has a bill that will eliminate estate tax. And while we are hopeful that that will happen, he believes they'll probably meet some problems from folks from our northern parts of Illinois, and of course the governor, that they don't want to allow that to happen. But we see so many times with our farms. Now we know what farm ground goes for now. It's extremely expensive. And, if our family farms have to pay an estate tax, they have to sell off a lot of their farms and then deplete the small farmer.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm delighted that Senator Kaler has brought that bill forward. And Senator Jill Tracy, myself, Senator Bennett, I'm trying to think who else is on. Senator Faraci out of Champaign. We're all on that. And we look forward to hoping that they'll call that and veto, because he'd filed it already. So
what are some of the specifics on this, Sally?
Well, right now, I believe he has it equal to what the federal tax is. He's thinking that's probably what's going to happen, but we don't know if it's just going to be for all small businesses at a certain amount, or if it's just going to be for farmers. So we'll see what happens. When we hear that that's being talked about, I'd encourage our constituents to make sure and reach out and say that they support that bill.
Mm-hmm. Very good. So keep that in mind. Anything else on that bill, Sally, in terms of just how did you, I'm sure it wasn't hard to hear from farmers on that issue, but what did you hear from them in the course of crafting this thing?
Yeah, well, we've been hearing from farmers for a long time regarding that specifically, how, their family members have to sell off the ground in order to survive on the farm, and they've already paid taxes throughout their lifetime for it. So it just doesn't feel right. So we're glad that Senator Kaler is in the Democrat Party, and we're delighted that he's bringing that in such a bipartisan manner.
Yeah, and I venture a guess probably a lot of downstate Democrats will want to get behind this, given the probably agriculture in their backyards and the farmers that are their constituents.
Sure. We don't have too many of those, but absolutely.
It's true. That's true. Very good. Sally, I'll tell you what, let's take a time out here. Come back with some more. State Senator Sally Turner on the phone with us this morning. More to come with her on the WHOW Morning Show.
WHOW.
Let's check the opening numbers now at the Chicago Board of Trade on this Thursday. Jim Taylor, RFD Radio Network. We start the day in the red with corn, beans, and wheat. December corn opening 477 3/4, down 4.5. March corn down 4 1/4, 492 1/2. May corn 501, down 4.5. November beans 1303 1/2, down 16 1/2. January beans down 15 3/4, 1320 1/2. March beans 1330 3/4, down 16. December wheat, 581 1/4, down 7.5. March wheat down 7, 607 3/4. May wheat 623 3/4, down 7. October bean meal, 392.50, that's down 470. And October bean oil on this Thursday, 60.61, down 7 cents. A look at the opening numbers at the Chicago Board of Trade on this Thursday morning. Jim Taylor, RFD Radio Network.
Looking for Chevrolet inventory? This is Scott Baum from Baum Chevrolet Buick here in Clinton. We have the all-new Chevrolet Trax, Blazer, and Trailblazers coming. Plus, several Chevrolet Equinoxes and Traverses are here. This month, take advantage of extra $1,000 trade-in assistance on your trade. There's always a need for quality trades here at Baum's. BaumChevyBuick.com. Right from the start.
CEO Paul Scourin here from Warner Hospital and Health Services in Clinton. Our trained physical therapists offer quality, compassionate care close to home. Find out more by clicking our icon at DeWittDailyNews.com.
For the latest in Central Illinois agricultural news, visit IllinoisFarmRadio.com. Get updated information on markets, weather, ag news, local interviews with NAFB farm broadcaster Jared White, and much, much more. All at IllinoisFarmRadio.com.
Your friend in Central Illinois, WHOW.
Once again, a good morning. Thanks for being with us. I'm your host today, Seth Lawrence. The WHOW Morning Show streams to Facebook and YouTube, brought to you by Peterson Insurance, your Pekin Insurance agent in Clinton. My guest on the phone, State Senator Sally Turner. And Sally, I know that this was a topic a couple of months ago before the legislature kind of convened, or rather dismissed for the session, the school tax credit, or the school, basically school choice program. I know it doesn't affect too many students downstate, but this is a big deal in the Chicago area. How about this program? What is it exactly, and what's kind of the latest on it?
Yeah, it's called Invest in Kids, and it's been something that's been around for a long time, and it's getting ready to sunset. And they had a huge lobby, a huge presence at the Capitol over the last year, and they have tried so hard to get it called so that it won't sunset, because the kids that were presently in this program, they wouldn't know if they could go back to that school that they wanted to. And so what this program does is it gives individuals or corporations or things of that nature a 75% credit just for a child to be able to go to a school of their choice. So if you lived in inner city Chicago, and this could be an avenue for you to get your child out of an area that perhaps wasn't best for him or her, or their family was struggling, they could go to someplace, a math and science institute, something like that kid could excel. And so that's something that we're pushing, and I know those folks that are lobbying for it are as well. So we hope that ends up getting called.
Yeah. It would be a huge disappointment, obviously, for that to to sunset and not be renewed. But at the same time, Sally, I think there's a lot of people that benefit from this program that need to speak up and say so.
Sure, and they have. It's I'm not really quite sure why. I mean, it's not that much money. I don't remember what the dollar amount is, but the way that we're handing money out for other things that aren't our children, isn't this an easy thing to do?
You would think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, you would certainly think so. And Sally, with this program, I think there's probably a lot of frustration in that, recently you saw the I think it was the CPS. Maybe the what was going on? Was it the CPS, like their oh gosh, it wasn't their board president.
It was their chairwoman, I believe it was, who sent her kids to private school.
Yeah,
and I get it. Well, I get it that she had that choice to do that, but not all the people that are under her had that choice.
Yeah, got caught with that one too. I mean, she, doesn't send her kids to the school system that she oversees, and had to explain her way out of that one. But you've also got so many like these lawmakers that are going to let this sunset. They send their kids to private school as well. I mean, Chicago mayor. I think the Chicago mayor sends his kids to public school, or one of them. But so many of these people that are going to let this sunset, they send their kids to private school. It's kind of interesting.
Yeah, and we know downstate we have excellent public schools, and we do all around us. We do, but there's some areas where they're not able to get what they need, and there might be some areas that they need special learning tools or something like that. To put certain kids in those positions is helpful to not only that kid, but to society as well.
Yeah. Well, and again, Sally, I mean, you talk about downstate schools and the excellent education you get in a lot of these places. you don't, like you were talking about the physical, kind of nature of the schools, and that they're not well kept, and not particularly clean and things of that nature. It's not only that, it's that there's so many students that will leave the Chicago public school system and others, and they're not reading, writing, even at the appropriate grade level that they're leaving the school at.
No, I totally agree. Yeah, I mean, it needs to be dig in deeper, find out the problems, why aren't things working the way they need to be working, and fix them instead of just continuing to let things go.
Absolutely. Well, Sally, as we wrap up here for this morning, I know that you're going to be kind of making your rounds through Central Illinois. It's kind of fall festival season for you. Where have you been? Where are you going? Where will folks maybe see you coming up here soon?
Sure. We just had, a lot of things. We just had the Morton Pumpkin Fest. That was last weekend, and we had the Lincoln National Rail Splitter Association. That was in Lincoln. We also had Mariah's Mums, and I went over to Mariah's Mums last week with my mom, which was awesome. And this coming weekend, Saturday and Sunday, starts the Pork and Apple Festival in Clinton. So that is hugely attended and a lot of fun. So I hope everybody can get out and go to that. For sure.
Let me know if you come to that, Sally. I'll like buy you a cider float or something like that. And
that sounds like a plan.
Awesome. Good deal. Well, Sally, again, as we wrap up, anything else kind of coming up for you, whether it's from the legislator perspective, anything in the district of note, what's kind of coming up for you that you're keeping tabs on?
Well, we continue to do traveling office hours. Our district is huge. It's part of 10 counties. And so we've been going to Clinton quite often. I have Dana Smith, the former county clerk. She is the former county clerk of DeWitt County. She works for me in the Clinton, Forsyth, Maroa, Hayworth area and helps me with traveling office hours. So we're still in Clinton area, and our new places that we'll be going are Hayworth and Downs and down to Heliopolis and still in Maroa. We just kind of travel all over the place to, meet with constituents if they need us instead of them having to come to our office.
And how do they keep track of where you're at with those there, Sally?
It's on our website. They can go to the Senator Sally Turner website, and it has postings of where we're going to be.
Very good. Sally, always good to talk to you. Hopefully we see you this weekend at the Apple and Pork Festival.
Yeah, thanks, Seth. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Sally Turner, State Senator, our guest on the phone. Network News on the way.